Hello! So I just made a video showing, the process of making this vending machine, and I might still upload it, but I want to do another one because I didn't really like how the first video came out. It was, however, showing something that was kind of fun, and that was how to project stuff from a diagonal like this, because it's basically just as easy. So before I jump into the other one, I want to just show you that part. So we're gonna load in our image texture here. Do I still have? Oh, no, I don't. I started a new thing. Gotta wait. Screencast. Yeah, there's those letters. Excellent. Okay, so we're gonna open up our Vending cleaned here, and in the UV editor, I want to pull it up as reference. And what we're gonna do is we're basically just gonna try to model it, eyeball it, so it matches this perspective, like this. And so. Think like that, and then project from view, and let's see how well this matches up. That's actually pretty good. And so now if we go back into material view, you can see it's there, and we just have to kind of line it up in there. And you might be like, hey, but things are kind of warped and stretching. And it's like, yeah, that's the downside to this method, but also you can get rid of that super easily every single time you add an edge loop. So take a look at this. The fact that these aren't perfectly square just means I didn't get those initial points, on here great. Like, this one's kind of in, and this one's kind of, yeah. And, but as you go in, you just kind of keep straightening everything up. And the closer you match the perspective when you first start, the less this is an issue. But yeah, this is a great way to, like, and then you're not even working on the diagonal anymore. You're just working with this geometry straight like this. And so it's just a really cool way if you want to, you can take a picture of a box or something from this angle, match it up, and really easily slap it on there. And then you get these cool wraparound materials that aren't interrupted. And you can just get a lot of coverage with one picture. And so I like doing that if I'm out grabbing texture resources. I have this entire collection of just random. It's usually, yeah, they're usually taken at some sort of funky angle. Reader boards, yeah, these ones are fun ones. I'm gonna be putting all these out soon. I've modeled most of these actually. A lot of times I'll put different ones into the same different angles in the same image. But so yeah, that's a way you can do that. And again, if you're trying to make background assets, that works really good. But I'm gonna do one that's just straight on like this. My friend went to Japan, and I asked him to take a bunch of pictures of all their wacky vending machines, because they got them everywhere, and they're so cool, and they got all these little decals and things. So this is my version. This was the original, and while image textures are cool because they let you collect real life image things from the world, you don't want to gather too many company logos, I suppose. So that's I think cleaned up. I think maybe this P in the back is part of something, but I painted out the middle. And let's also see if I can, like, if I mess this part up. There, that's not a logo anymore. That's just a design. Cool. So also, this is currently only 32% of the total resolution. This thing is huge. And when once you get up to 100% resolution, you can see that it's kind of blurry. Like, this is actual crisp because I just added that text, and this is, so we don't even need half of this resolution, which will save a bunch of memory in Blender. So I'm going to layer, merge. This is in Photoshop. You can do this in literally any paint program though. This is just like paint program basics. Let's do 2,000 pixels. Yeah. And then while I might use a little bit of this additional stuff out here, actually, there's a lot of goodies in the background of this. I'm sorry, I just said goodies, you guys. I didn't mean to. There we go. That's a more efficient use of zone here. Yeah, this should work fine. All right, so vending 2 cleaned, 2 vendorous. Okay, so this one's gonna be easier because we don't have as much of a diagonal to deal with. And loading in our image texture. Oh, and I've got to, vending 2 cleaned, got to turn on the screencast. Yes. So already we have something here. You project from view. We're just gonna do this all, yeah, here we go. I could just load this in. In fact, they let you just drag and drop images in here. Look at this. Oh, you used to be able to. Sometimes you can. Dang. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna clean this up, and I just love that you can keep your geometry straight while just tweaking it on the image, the UV side a little bit, and if you add like an edge loop and scroll it, it's all gonna be just splitting the difference between the two and all of that, and that's really fun. Already we've got a thing. I'm gonna cube project and just slide this somewhere. We might add more details to it later, but I'm not going to stress about it for a minute here. And so these have rounded corners right here, and we could just use the knife tool and kind of trace, and maybe we should do that because I'm not entirely sure what the maneuver I'm going to try to do is going to do to the UVs. But yeah, just using Control R to add some edge loops here. This, I want to fix this bit a little bit, so I'm just gonna pull this guy. Yeah, so that way this black trim is just inside the window. Last time I did this, I cut a bunch of corners when making this window, and the geometry was pretty gnarly, and so I wasn't really able to clean stuff up in a way that I liked. Okay, so got this one. Just gonna fill up the space. And let's grab this right here. Okay, so one thing we can do, we can just extrude this in, but it's rounded, and so I'm wondering if we can just Control Alt click, select those edges. We got these ones, and just do this, and if that just kind of like, it makes the geometry work. Texture wise, I don't know if it's completely ideal, and I don't know if we want to push it that far with this one up here, but let's see what happens. I'm gonna extrude this actually in a little ways, make it big, extrude it back again. This whole thing is way too deep. Okay, and so now if I'm going to quickly throw this in the yellow zone, maybe the white zone, and do that same maneuver we were just talking about of Control Alt clicking to get all of these little edge guys, and Control B. Right now the bevel can only go this big because it runs in that other geometry right there. You see that? So I'm just going to select these and do limited dissolve, which ideally dissolves that geometry without really affecting anything, which is very handy. And now we have no geometry near the corners, so we can do that exact same maneuver, and now it gives us a lot more room to play. And okay, so that's starting to stretch that, but this is, I think that's kind of okay. That's great. And a lot of times while we have this up, I like to add my window details, where I'll just add a couple edge loops here, and maybe another one like there. Select that loop, Alt-E, extrude normals in here, Alt-E, extrude this one out. Just kind of add random gunk, random trim type stuff. Yeah, and just add some depth. In fact, let's get a window started. I'm just gonna select one of these loops, Shift D, F for face, scale it up a little bit, and slide it to somewhere where glass would be. I'm gonna make it a new object just to get it out of there, and actually we'll just do glass now. We're just jumping all over the place. That's how we do. Alright, so you can use a glass shader. Somebody once, I saw a YouTube video being like, don't use the glass shader, and so I was like, alright, I won't. And so I'm using the node wrangler, so I can just Control Shift right click on glassy and transparent. It creates this mixed shader node, which is so cool to not have to do all of that other shenanigans. Now you can see the default environment map for Blender. Isn't that nice? We're in like a little, this vending machine's a portal to a garden. Ah, get away from me, Narnia. If you're an Eevee, you gotta change the opaque to blend mode, and then you can actually see through it, which is nifty. Yeah. So the bummer about having added the bevels already, and I should have waited on that, is now if we have to grab faces and stuff, we've got all of these extra little bits to deal with. And in a lot of cases, it's not really gonna matter, but it just wasn't the very best way we could have done it. I'm gonna extrude this guy in. Cool. Got my little Dr. Lemur's poster on here. Trust the lemur. He controls your destiny. Alright. And let's extrude a couple bits out too. This is just using the knife tool, which is amazing. I feel like a couple years ago everyone was always talking about how you needed to have the good like topology. And now it's like, man, topology is good, especially if you're doing like rigs and faces and all that stuff. But if you don't have good topology, it turns out your renders still can work a-okay. So if that's all you're doing, like for visual effects or something, I think it works great. I don't know. Maybe there's reasons you need stuff cleaner for video games and things too. And I apologize if I'm teaching bad habits, which I know I am, but I'm gonna add, let's see, a new one. I'm gonna duplicate this vending machine material and call it emissive machine, and I'm just gonna select like right here. I'm gonna make this a little like glowing LCD panel, and it's just the exact same material, but it's, whoa, what you doing? Let's clean that up. No? This is what I get. It's because I went on my little spiel about geometry. Oh, you fates, how you vex me. Okay. So assign this to emissive, and instead of principled, we're just going to slide it through an emissive shader here. And now it glows. Woo! And we can do the same thing up here. Blender does this thing now where it doesn't always show. If you go into rendered mode, it doesn't show you the overlays sometimes, which is not great. Okay, let's do this little money feeder though. Extrude it out, inset, extrude it in, and I'm just gonna grab this kind of plastic looking bit here. You can double click to finish it. Go back to rendered, and hey, now it's glowing. That's fantastic. And this thing right here looks like it should be glowing. So let's put that right there. Ooh. And all of these could probably, if we mixed in a glossy shader and used an add shader to add the light with the glossy, then it would reflect its environment. Right now there's no environment to reflect those. So I'm going to put in an environment. Let's do this one. That'll just give us a little something to see. Huh. It's not very glossy, but it is doing a little bit here. This is already looking kind of fun. And I'm gonna clean this up just a tad. I feel bad that we're kind of just leaving all of this gunky, but well, let's see here. I'm gonna go to the side. In fact, I'm gonna select both sides. You project from view, and I'm going to put this down here and reuse this little section because I think it could work all right. I'm gonna flip it around. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then that means I kind of want to do some stuff with the knife tool here, but I don't know if I'm gonna waste too much time with that. Because I have to do it the other side too. And we don't have that sort of time. When I'm down and running out of ideas, I watch your video. Oh, this is good. Oh no, they keep popping up. go. Alright, we did it. We've passed the test. Everybody's very nice, but it's weird when they pop up in the middle of a screen capture. This white bit right here is no good. So I'm gonna slide this over, select these faces, and I'm just gonna select this and drag it down like that. And that stretches that little guy out, but that's okay here. And maybe, let's see, I'm gonna do a limited dissolve here. I guess I can't. I want to slide these vertices away from the edge here so that I can do a bevel. That's not particularly clean, but I want to be able to... Yeah, I didn't do things in exactly the best order. There's a certain way you want to do stuff so that you're not adding geometry before you're still working on some of the big... I'm just babbling right now, I apologize. Does it work? It's messing up quite a few things, actually. Alright, we're just getting a tiny bevel on this one. I'm gonna clean this guy up here. Yeah, that keeps it rounded. The other one was nice and big and fat, rounded stuff, and it looked kind of cool, but this should be fine. Okay, so this glass is a little bit intense here. I'm gonna hide that for now. Let's start working on a... Oh, no. Let's do something with this guy. Alright. Whoa. Whoa. Alright. Slow down, Ian. Apparently I've undone too many times, but alright. Here we go. Select. Extrude in. There we go. Extrude, scale it up. Gonna inset, extrude in, and I'm just gonna duplicate this to make it like a flap here. Cool. And maybe, I don't know, there's stuff we could do with this. Like we could make it translucent, put a light in there, something like that, but I don't know if we're gonna do that right now. Uh-oh, we forgot some Japanese coinage. That could be any coinage. Extrude, inset, extrude. Woo. And if these stretches bother you, you know, you can always just select that, go to a diagonal, project from view, and stick them somewhere. And there we go. I guess now this rim, but that's actually just gonna add detail from the background, so I'm not worried about it. Okay, now stocking the vending machine. First thing I want to do is I want to get rid of these stretchings using the ways we just talked about. And I actually... Can we do something like this? I guess it doesn't make any sense for the inside of the vending machine to be the dirtiest part, but it kind of adds, instead of just like a random more yellow, having a little bit of a textured deal. It's kind of fun. Okay. Yeah, and we're gonna be turning most of this into like glowing parts anyways. Like I want a big light going on. Let's do that right now. So I selected this edge loop. We're gonna add interior light. Assign, and it's gonna be emissive. So now if we render it in cycles, inside will be all lit up, which is kind of cool. Now this does lead to some complications. Like we do want to add a material and other stuff like that, but maybe we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm in rendered view, so I have to turn this back on for some reason in the latest version of Blender. I'm gonna round these out too, just to make it look a little bit more intentional. Oh no, I shouldn't do that yet. Okay, let's cut out one of these guys, these rows here, because I like that a lot. I'm gonna invert the selection, hide it, and now we just have our faces here. This one looks good. So just knife tooling this guy out here. I could probably be getting a lot more detailed like it looks like it's got all these little panels and things on the top, but right now I kind of like just having it be this, these 2 bits. Yeah, that's fine. I don't like the stretching there. In fact, I guess we can fix that pretty easily. There we go. Now it's stretching the other part. But it looks like maybe that's part of the design, you know? Yeah. Okay, so Alt-H, bring all that other stuff back. Where did my little piece go? Where did my piece go? Is it here? Oh, it's just hidden right there. Okay, cool. So I'm actually going to turn this into 4. Because we're going to put some cans on there, which will be a little bit shorter than what they currently have stocked. Alright, slide this forward, and I guess that means I like the free detail this gives back here, but I think it's going to make things kind of confusing, and so we'll see what we end up doing with that. I guess now is a good time to bring in a can. Vending machine, let's call this Vending Machine 2. Append, and I've already got my can thing open from the last one, so loading one of these cans. It's down here. I think it has a rigid body simulation still on it. No, it didn't. Great. Place it in the machine. Welcome, you can, to the machine. And this is where it's going to become very obvious how cool this would have been if I had actual logos on the cans. Remember how I said it'd be confusing? There'd be 2 rows? This is that time of confusion. Okay, so I got those. I'm going to offset them, slide them back a little bit. Delete this forward. Nope, that's all good. Select linked by linked object data. Great. Okay, so now I want to make all these cans, like I've got stuff scaling the nutrition facts and things kind of different, but I still want to rotate them around. So individual origins, and turn on proportional editing, random. So now if we spin one of these, it's going to spin everything within this range a different amount. And so that's just a really good way to add randomness. You can be like, woo, and it just, yeah. I love it. Okay. This is looking pretty good. This big white material is, if it's bothering you, that's makes sense because it bothers me too. In fact, I'm gonna add a new piece to this because I've got this piece from a grocery store that I took. Let's just call it grill, and I think it would work great in a big refrigerated case like this. I think it's yeah, here we go. It's just this thing kind of looks like a heat sinker. I don't even know. It's a good old grill. Let's see if we can stick that in there. It might look a little bit weird. And we could, if we were feeling cool, which we are, we're gonna make these holes transparent because that wouldn't be all that tricky. Gonna add a transparent shader here and a mix shader. And what's gonna control between the transparent and the regular shader is the brightness of the image. And so if it's too dark, it'll be transparent. For this to work in Eevee, we've got to turn on alpha blend. And we can see it's right now doing the opposite. So, converter, color ramp, yes. I'm gonna swap these values. And now look at that, we've got a nice kind of grill. I think it's maybe too bright. I do like that kind of dark steel look. Maybe it's fine actually for a clean vending machine. I'm like trying to design like a grungy robot or something. But look at that, yeah. Maybe it just goes in the top and bottom, just kind of to accent it a little bit. And we'll have to see if this dark flange that kind of appears. Fringe? Flange? Words mean things, Ian. Whether you care or not. Welcome, you cans, to the machine. They said they saw a dope grill there on the vending sill. Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time. I don't think it'll even really change how anything looks, but ooh, changes that background. That's great because we don't like that background anymore anyways, do we? Or I'll just reproject it and it'll be, we'll put it somewhere. We can just do yellow, but oh, this dark grunge. Yeah, it's a grungy vending machine, but only in very specific places. So this again, if you are bothered by this interior light, you can. I think I have some lights materials down here. Yeah, that's a good one. Look at that, it's already doing a thing. So. See, select. I'm gonna just reproject here. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm glad we did that. That's pretty cool. But now we get to pick like where are the seams. Yeah, it's a little funky. Look at that nice 90-degree bulb. I kind of dig it though. And now that that's there, I'm like, oh, we gotta mess with it. Add some edge loops, bring it in. Add another one. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Bring back that front window pane. Save it. Alright, now that we're in cycles, it looks like this is just very glossy. So just put just a hint of glass in there. Yeah! One thing I love about these is they have the status lights, and so I'm gonna make those too. Gonna put them right in the middle of the glow. New emissive. We're gonna call this cyan lights. Cool. Man, now I have Pink Floyd in my head forever. And I guess I feel like I should, like, my desire for randomness tells me I should, like, turn off some of these. Like, look, some cans aren't stocked, but they're all very visibly stocked. But maybe we'll unstock it. Oh no, now I can't see where I put my little lights and where I didn't. Yeah, right, and especially if it's dark. Actually, those indicator lights are too big. So with individual origin still turned on, I'm just going to turn these down a little bit. And if I wanted to, I could do the same thing we did with here, making these little bits glow and select these little LED readouts. But I don't know if I do want to. I do think I want to cut this guy out, though. bevel in it. Yeah. Okay, so I got that, and then I'm also gonna cut out this. This is where it gets too messy. It's probably not good, but let's try cutting it out, see what happens. Pull this out here, select these same ones, extrude them in, select that, pop it. And then I'm gonna shrink it so it's all actually inside the lever here, because at this point all we care about is the color, not really the texture. And we can do the same with this one here. Just make it, let's see if we can, just a little bevel. Cool. Okay. Let's add a little bit of glare. Let's just clean up. There we go. Now it's just reflecting stuff just a little bit. That's nice. Puts it in the scene a little bit more. Bring our glass back. So there's one more thing that we could do, and I think, let's see if I just join all of this together into one object. Does that? Oh, yes, of course it does, because of the cans. Well, that's okay. I'm going to select linked by object data. Great. I'm going to hide all of that. I'm going to make these and join all of these, and that should be, yeah, Control J. Ah, well, that doesn't want to work either. That's fine. I want to just try something real quick. If I duplicate this, we've got a different color, and it's big and yellow, and that's going to obviously stand out if we start doing a lot of copying and pasting. So I want to try putting in a randomness situation. Here's the random node here, color hue, and if I just plug the random into the hue, what happens? Things get kind of weird, and I kind of like it. So if we were able to isolate it so it wasn't the entire thing, like, ooh, I like both of these more than the original, actually. Okay, so if we didn't do this here, but if we just selected, what's the best way to do this, do you think? Without, like, just going around and selecting all of the faces. Maybe that's just what we do here. I apologize for watching a man select faces. It's gonna be fun though. I have a couple like city buildings I have that do this, where it just changes the hue of all the buildings, and it's got enough randomized stuff that I can copy and paste that building like crazy, and it doesn't really ever stand out as being copied and pasted because there's enough like I have different window patterns happening too, like I have checkerboard patterns affecting the emissiveness of the windows, and so you just can't see the Oh, there's still a funky back. Okay, well I think I've deselected everything I wouldn't want to change color, or that has enough color that it would look weird if that happened. So I'm going to make a new vending machine. Go away. And this will be the magical color changing machine. And I'm going to do that same thing we were just doing. Color, hue, and input object info. Plug the randomness into, not gamma. Randomness into the hue. And look at that! Every time we duplicate it, it's a different little pastel machine. Oh, that works quite well. We can also tweak all of them at once. You could do stuff. I wonder what this part down here would look like if we made this part of the magical color changing. Huh. It didn't affect the other ones. I would have thought they were all linked. Well, maybe I was using Shift-T. Anyways, so that's a fun thing you can do. And then you can just... and you have all the cans randomly generating, and you have the vending machines doing their little thing, and that's kind of fun. So I'll make these available for you. Cool. Thanks, guys.